Welcome to Vision Infotech's Logibrisk. Logibrisk is cloud-based ERP solution for logistics industry. We cater to supply chain and logistics industry in the field of transportation, warehousing, and fleet management. Our system is set up on cutting-edge technology of Windows and Linux. It is hosted on Azure, which gives 99% runtime. And before going to and showing you the glimpse of the actual application, I would like to give a glimpse of what the logistics covers. So Logibrisk covers the booking to dispatch management system, and also it covers the end-to-end bill generation to bill collection processes. Some of the feature set that Logibrisk cover is contract management, where you can set up your customer contracts and vendor contracts, booking management, where you can do the booking of a consignment on application or on the mobile app as well. You can configure the various print formats as you require. You can manage your operations of entire booking to delivery stream, and also you can manage your own fleet with the fleet management and maintenance program. On top of it, the transportation and fleet management is totally tightly integrated. We give the end-to-end track and trace, where you can track your vehicle on the GPS, and also we provide the customer and vendor portal where they can track it. We also have the finance and accounting tool, which covers the general accounting, receivables, and payable management. On top of it, we provide the payments and the mobility part for pickup of delivery for POD and the cutting edge technology of workforce management. With this, I would like to showcase the actual demo. Thank you. All right, so I've logged into the system, and let me show you how do we do the setup in the application. I would go to the configurations. You can do the multiple setup here. You can set up your field, you can set up your events, you can set up different contracts as well. Let's go to the field setup and see how do we set up the fields. We can set up the field based on the different requirements. So there's a module, let's say on the state module, if I want to change the name of a state to the province, and if I want to say that it is not state ID, it is province ID, or not a province code, I can go and I can say, hey, this is not state, this is province. So similarly, you can change the name and you can apply it to all the different fields put together for different forms that you have. Next, we will see how we can do the rule setup. So in the rule setup, we can configure the rules based on the different modules. For example, if you want to configure the rule for the customer invoice, we can mention here that for which of the payment type do you want to make the invoice finalization mandatory. So if I say yes to say to be billed contract, so whenever next time we are going to use a to be billed contract, system will make sure that invoice finalization is mandatory. So similarly, across different modules, we can set up the rules and we can configure it based on the requirement. Now let us have a look at how do we configure event at Logibrisk. You can configure event for multiple modules, for operations, for all your documents, for your different entities in the application. Let's say you want to set up the event whenever the booking is created. How do you set up the event and how do you configure the notification and alerts? So you can capture that, okay, whenever the booking is created, these are the information that should be passed to the entities or the stakeholders. How do you want to convey them? Do you want to convey them by SMS? If it is SMS, what is the SMS text? Do you want to convey to consignor? Do you want to send SMS to consignee? And also for what all payment types do you want to send this event updated to the client? So you can capture that, and at the same time you can define the multiple events categories and what are the information that you want to send. If there is an email part of it, you can also capture the to CC and what is the subject line with respect to it, and you can send this event on the scheduler basis, and you can get it updated as and when you decide the frequency of the same. And similarly, as we said, we can configure the event for multiple modules across the application. Thank you. Now let us have a look at how do we define and set up the admin configurations in the system. So under the admin, you can set up the company structure where you can define what's your company into, what are the countries and cities that you serve, and the information of the users. You can also define the stakeholder information, who is your customer, who is your vendor, and other details. If you have your own fleet, you can define all your fleet related information under fleet setup. And similarly, you can do a multiple of mapping or with a city to a location, with a customer to a particular location, with a vehicle to the driver, etc. And importantly, you can create multiple roles in the application. Let's say there's a role master where you can set up the role for based on the different operational need that you have. And once that role is confirmed, you can assign the roles and you can assign the rights with respect to that role. So that way system is very configurable, and based on your requirement, you can map it as per your business needs. Thank you. Most importantly, you can capture the customer contracts and the vendor contracts in the masters. And you can define, for example, for Flipkart as one of the customer, what is my contract type, what is the contract start date and end date, and you can get the ample of information over here where you can define that what is the basic details, the contact details, the services that you are catering to, the freight rates which is applicable, you can capture them, and also the billing details as to what is the credit limit, what is the committed amount per month, and all the contract related information you can capture in the contract management. At the same time, the same contracting is also applicable to the vendors wherever it is buy sell kind of a relationship. Let's look at how the booking is in the application. For that, we go to the freight booking. We can do the quick booking for the express kind of a business where you want to just capture a few information and proceed with the dispatch. And we also got the detailed booking in place. For an example, in the booking, you can capture the shipping information as to what is the docket number, what is the contracting party, what is origin and destination city, and what are the services that you are offering. Secondly, the shipment details where you are entering the consigner and consign information and the document details as well. And third, and importantly, you are capturing the packaging information. What is the invoice date? What is the total number of packages? What are the volumetric of each packaging? And you can also capture the cubic weight and the CFD ratio that is there. If you have the contract defined with the customer, the invoice value will come automatically over here. And you can also invoke the contract based on the contract that you have set in the application. About that, you can capture the e-way bill date and e-way bill expiry date, and can also add as many shipments and packages as you want as you go further with the operations in this particular booking. Thank you. Next, we will look at the trip sheet, how the trip is getting created in the application. In the trip sheet module, we will capture the basic details of trips. How is a trip route wise? Is it manifest wise? Is it THC wise? What is the route it is going to take? What is the scope? For which customer you are taking this trip? The departure details as to what is the actual standard time of departure, what is the actual time of departure, and is it your own vehicle or the contracted vehicle or a market vendor? Next, you capture the transport related information. What is the vehicle number which is going? Rest of the information gets pulled automatically from the masters, and who is the driver, and all the information of driver related get pulled from the masters. In case if there is an ad hoc vehicle and ad hoc driver, you can feed in manually as well. Next is the loading detail, where you will capture that who was the loader, at what kilometer the loading is started, what is the vehicle capacity, and in case if you are filling the load step by step, the system will able to show that what is the vehicle capacity against which how much you have loaded, and what is your capacity utilization in percentage. Next is payment. So if you are paying the driver any advance, you can do the advance in cash, or you can do it by bank, and also you can capture the amount that is being paid. This way you can create the trip and you can close it once the trip is complete. At the same time, the mobile application for the driver will help you enable track all the expenses real time, and also will be able to give you the location of the vehicle as it goes. Thank you. The next aspect which we would like to show is how do we track the operations, how do we track the finances, how do we track the control tower. For example, let's track the operations. You can track multiple information as to docket, loading sheet, you can track delivery sheet, trip sheet, and all your scanned documents. For example, if you want to track the docket, you can filter it by the different locations, different criterias. And if you want to track a specific docket, you would go about tracking it. Let's say you track this particular docket. You will get the docket information, what was the docket date, who was the consigner, who is a consignee, and then you can go on tracking multiple aspects of it. You can capture the summary where it will show you what are all the steps through which the docket has gone through. So when was the docket booked, when was the edits happened, when was it manifested, when was put on the trip, and when did it arrive at the destination location. So you can get all this information as the event that you set up in the application, and then you can take a printout of it. At the same time, if you want to see the operational life cycle, you can see the operational life cycle of docket. What was the activity which was happening at Mumbai location? What was the activity which was happening at Pune location, along with the date and timestamps and the cumulative days. Importantly, you can print this application, you can download it in Excel file, CSV, or you can send it to a different stakeholders based on your need using the application. Also, we give a lot of rights to enable the fields that you want. So you can choose your column, which is the activity or what are the columns that you want to look at. Whichever you don't want, you can just nix it from the application and you will be able to see only those. You can take the printout of it and send it according to your requirement. It comes with the configurable dashboards where you can capture the information with respect to dashboard based on the different users. I've logged into the administrator as a headquarter and I can capture this detail over here. At the same time, all these dashboards can be customized based on the different users, and these dashboards come with some of the features with a nice UI. At the same time, you can download the reports right from the application and it gets fetched in the Excel sheet. Also, you can play with the chart that you want to see, whichever is based on your comfort. You can establish that kind of a chart, and you can also add the filtering criteria where if you want to drill down to a specific region and you want to view the information, you can do it over here. Last but not least, would like to cover what are the reports that we capture in the application. We've got a couple of reports in the operations, the vehicle movement, finance side, driver management, and the trip management. We would like to showcase the driver trip operation reports where you can capture the information of sales register, manifest register, trip sheet register. Let's take an example of trip sheet register. Here you can capture the report based on the different hierarchies. You can capture it based on different location for a different timelines. You would like to capture it for today, for last 7 days, last 30 days. And most importantly, the system comes with the configurable templates. So you can define what are the templates that are required with respect to one particular report. And then based on those chosen templates, system will generate those fields itself, which will be applicable to the user. So we can say, let's say we want to capture the customer wise trip detail, go for the submit, and I'll get all the details of a customer wise with trip number, what is the trip date, from to location, vendor name, vehicle number, and all the related information across. And also it will give the trip status. At the same time, if you want to find it by a particular date or a particular trip number, you don't need to go outside to search it in the application. You can directly write it over here and you can search it. You can capture this detail, download it in Excel, CSV copy, take a print of it, and most importantly, systems give you configurable rights where you can configure and pick and choose which are the column that you want. Let's say you don't want the manual trip number. Let's say you don't want from to location. Let's say you don't want the gate pass information. You can just nix it right from the system, and only those information which is applicable will be visible over here. So this gives a lot of front-end configurable rights to the user, and it becomes very easier to pull out the report and send it to either internally or to external to the stakeholders.